Great to see Dr. John Brown also joining us. JB, it's going to be a very interesting conversation as well. Dr. JB joining us as well. Welcome, Dr. JB. Dr. JB, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Good evening, sir.
Hey, look how fresh you are. Are you in Dubai still, or you are in Ghana? You are back in Ghana.
I'm in Dubai.
Hey, you are enjoying yourself. That's great. How is the conference going, Doctor?
Okay. Actually, I came for the conference in Paris, so it's over, and I'm in Dubai. I want to relax for some few days in Dubai before I go to.
Oh, okay. So how long are you staying in Dubai?
Dubai. Okay, I'll leave Dubai on Saturday.
What? That's a long break for you then.
It's a long break, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So you'll be eating a lot of their halal food and stuff then. Make sure you don't bloat before you go back to Ghana. Okay, I see Doc is frozen there. Nanama.
Nana.
Okay, it's good. Nanama, I can pick Nanama clearly. Great stuff. Okay, so you are watching Voice of London television, of course, rebranded from Africa Radio since 1998 with one of my special guests on the scene, Adams, right here with us when we were in the trenches serving the community to the maximum. Great, great. Once again, I have to welcome you officially. So, Adams, hello and welcome to the show.
Hello, listeners. Good evening to you, and thank you for having me.
Great stuff. And how is Leicester over there? House? Yeah, go on.
Leicester is impeccable. The weather is beautiful, and everything is good. We have a very good weather, very good people, and we are cracking on.
So tell me what, I thought those of us in London were having a bit of a heat wave. How come you are enjoying the weather over there?
From Saturday, Sunday, the weather was very hot. It cooled down a bit on Monday and today. Today is Thursday. I even went on cycling by a lot of headwinds. So the weather has been great for the past 3 days now.
Oh, I see. That's quite interesting. Wow. Okay, so I see some parts of the UK having a very decent weather, some parts being scorched by the sun and having the heat waves continue unabated. And it's good to have some diversity. Okay, so you are watching us. Let me welcome Dr. JB John Brown. Doctor, officially, welcome to the show. Doctor will be speaking to us from Dubai. He's actually on attending a, yeah, Doctor. You've muted. Doctor, you've muted. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yes, okay. I've picked Doc. So, Doc, officially welcome back to the show once again. How are you, Doc?
I'm doing very well. I'm very well. And thank you too for the opportunity. And good evening to the fellow listener, to the fellow panelists. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to meet you once again.
Okay, that's a great stuff to have you. We are so grateful anytime. Service to the people, the voiceless, the marginalized, the middle class, and you know, those the people. That's what we represent. Yes, and we are grateful that Voice of London has been in the system since 1998 as Africa Radio. Now, Voice of London Radio and Voice of London Television. Okay, so let me welcome our beautiful lady, Nana Ama, aka Lady Beautylicious Beautylina. Nana Ama, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Good evening to all our cherished viewers.
Right.
And all our panelists.
Okay.
Kisses from Ghana to all of you.
Great. Nanama, how is the weather like in Ghana?
The weather, June, July, it rains. Yeah. Not that heavily,
Mm.
but we are in the rainy season though.
Oh, okay, okay. So the rainy season hasn't finished yet. Is that the case?
No, please.
Okay.
No, please.
All right. All right. Okay. So, very shortly and briefly, you're going to give us some of the headlines that is taking place over there. And then, as we look at that part of the world, the news desks over in London here will also take 1, 2, or 3 headlines from the international news desks. And so, Narama, if you are ready, give us a bit of the headlines and what's transpiring over there in the motherland, Ghana, and the Pan-African world. Let's go.
Okay, so we are going to start from University of Professional Studies in Accra, UPSA. There is this trending news going on. Lecturers, or should I say school authorities, they have brought a law about the students they are dressing. Some dressings have been prohibited. And it is causing a debate. People don't understand. People think, I'm in university, why should you tell me what to wear? But someone said their dressings, especially in the female students, say they've been more dressing killer. So they have to make laws to make sure that decent dressings are observed, because dressing Sinibi is too bad. It's seduction, like almost seduce teachers and all, even their male partners. Then also yeah, assemble a trend pan. And I think so Obagana ha ye friend maybe Patricia is still do I Siama, popularly known as Nana Agrada. This woman was a fetish priest. This is what people know her to be. And somehow she's in the movie industry as well. Now she turned to be a prophetess. According to her, she's evangelist, mama Pat, prophetess, reverend, a whole lot of titleship. She switched from fetish priest to become a pastor, a reverend, evangelist. As for her, I think she has all the titleship, all the ministerial, or should I say pastoral, everything. She has it in here. It has come to conclusion that there was this court in and out about she defrauding her members, lying to them, pretending to be good, she's not good. And then she has been arrested for 15 years. She has been jailed. This case was I think in 2022, and back and forth. She has been given 15 years imprisonment. Even Roland Walker, TV3 presenter, a very fine gentleman, he even felt the pain for this woman, telling His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to pardon her. Like he should come through this one, unless him. And to the next story, people are praising our Excellency, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, because when we calculate from the beginning of this year, from January to now, inflation has dropped. It has dropped sharply from 18.4% to 13% in June 2025 by Ghana Statistical Services. And the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRAS, has also they have they have passed the bill of the 1 liter, 1 Ghana cedi fuel. And it will start from July 16th, 2025. And there is this video about Professor Jainana Opoku Ajiman, our Vice President of Ghana, dancing with our president as they celebrate Republic Day with senior citizens. And one security man, this person is in the security field. He's a soldier. Private Solomon Asari Teitu has surprised all the world, especially Ghanaians, because we know that when it comes to that field, we know it's bribe, corruption. Instead of correcting, doing the right thing, they'll collect something small, anything for the boys, and then they'll just blush off the what is supposed to be right. They'll just blush off. But this gentleman, a very young, fine man, he went on duty at Babiani Gold Mine in the Western North region. When the illegal miners, tried to give him something small for the boys, he rejected, got angry at them, and then this video is circulating and going viral. So this is what I have for our cherished viewers.
Okay, thank you so much, Nanama. So with let's look at one or two. Sir Adams and JB, do you want to ask Nanama anything briefly?
Yes. I want to know, why has the case of Agrada taken so long between 2022 till now, that she has been convicted for fraud and the 15 years imprisonment? Why is Roland asking the president to pardon her? What is the rationale behind inquisition of her pardon?
Nana?
Okay,
I think doctor want to come in. Yeah, doc.
Yes, I would like to come in concerning the issue of Agrada and also reply or make a comment regarding what our brother asked. I think Agrada's case have been hanging on for a long time. And when she actually began this out of a the kind of negative at defrauding the masses. I think it began a long time ago, but then she wasn't a Christian, but then she was then a fetish priestess. Remember, so to in Accra, that's where she was actually duping people, and what happened at that instance was that she was working in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service. So whenever you go to Agada's premises and she defers you and you go to the police station, they will not listen to you. They will cycle. And this thing happened severally. But I personally know people who went to Agada's premises with Skagari over it. They were defrauded. And if you go and report to the police command as well too, they will not listen to you. So Agada Greenwings had the backing of the Ghana Police Service to continue this negative act of defrauding people. And this has continued for years. I want to say that the previous government and the previous IGP had hand in it, but it's possible the issues which has unraveled recently concerning Sami Jenfit's issue and other matters he's having with Empress Gifty and other celebrities. I think that all these factors might be taken into consideration by the judge to actually give the sentence. But the Ghana Police Service should be blamed. They have been accomplice in this crime. Sotom police station, the police command over them have been accomplice in the crime and the duping that Agada have been taking the people through over the years. Thank you.
So why is it that those who were the victims of Agrada, knowing that the police command in Sotum are complicit, or they are aiding and abetting, why didn't they report that also, so the judicial system or the court would have taken action against the police command?
Report to who? In Ghana, if the police does something wrong, if the police doesn't effect arrest, what you have to do is to report to PIPS. I can tell you that if you take 10 people, 9 or 8 of them don't know what PIPS is, and they don't know whom to report. If you report a case to police and the police don't take action, you cannot take a civil suit against them. You have to report to PIPS, and PIPS commanders will call the policemen to question them. But if we bring about 10 people in Ghana, none of them don't know. I've personally had instances where I have my land, I built a fence wall here. People want to demolish it. I reported it to Amasaman police station. The policemen demanded money from me that they want to buy for. Said, oh, this is my car. I came with my own car. Come and sit in my car. I'll take you. No, they demanded money in the night before they want to make arrest. And you can ask everybody in Ghana, if you report a case to police and you don't have money to pay the police, they will not make arrest. It happens at every police station.
Okay,
Yes.
so Doc, let me come in a bit. Okay, let me remind our viewers and those watching us, you are watching Voice of London TV, formerly Africa Radio, and we have a feed to Voice of London Radio. I think Voice of London TikTok is also picking it up. So if you go to VUL TV, TikTok, you pick us up. We are on YouTube and Facebook, all our social media handles as well. I would like to say that Doc and Adams, apparently I had a brief insight into the Agrada thing, and it's quite interesting. Why are politicians who have stolen millions of US dollars in Ghana and across Africa walking the streets of the cities free of charge, not being arrested, and Agrada, who is an alleged, should I say, spiritualist, okay, and graduating to become a minister, opening her own church, and these people decide to go to the church. That's quite an interesting thing, because I know matters of the spirit and most things normally the courts don't get involved in it a lot unless it's to do with fraud or certain criminalities and things, and then so with that thing, I heard the money involved was about £500, and I'm a bit surprised he had that 15 years. Probably she could have been fined or probably serve a community service or something. I'm not sure of the nitty gritty, but this is what I want Doctor to share light on it for us to see. Doc.
Okay, this is new to me. For the past 2 weeks, I've not been in Ghana, so I'm not well abreast with this information. So what you are telling me that the amount of money involved is the amount of money involved in the complaints is something new to me. But
Yes,
if that situation,
because what I heard, it was the complainants who complained that Agrada's promise was to give them money. And so she did showcase some amount of money on TV, on her own channel, something like that.
But despite what Agada have done in the past, which I don't support, I would like to be very objective in my analysis and my analysis in the whole issue. If Agada promises to give you money and it doesn't give you the money, it's not a crime. If somebody promises
Well,
that,
I think where,
I'll give you money, I want to give the money, I don't think that's a crime, and that the person should be jailed based on that.
Yes, and I
If
think
It's
somebody
a
has taken
fraud.
money from you for service, the person doesn't provide their services. That's when the person have defrauded you by false pretense.
JB, the pretext under which Agrada advertised her show or her gig was on the pretext of fraudulent, because she asked the clientele, allegedly her clientele, that if you give me 1 cedi, I'll make it 2 cedi for you, which in the laws of Ghana is tantamount to fraud. So by them accepting her bid, to go to the church and give her the money, expecting to get the money back, and she did not give them the 1 cedi, neither did she double the money. It's fraud. So she has to
That was
to
happened.
be dealt with by the court. We need to find. We need to stop people doing that. And
Okay,
I don't
so-
think only Agrada should end on only Agrada. It should also be extended to the those who are selling concoctions, the locally manufactured drugs that are causing a lot of kidney diseases in the country. They should be
That's
also
what
looking into it.
and there are pastors who also do it. They are telling Ayungu, and all this, and they are making a lot of money from people. Me, from my perspective, religion. One thing about take our religion, I'm saying one day who go school in John was saying, religion in this form have actually been engineered by the Western imperialists to control the mind of the people. You have realized that when people become born again Christians, and the ability to reason critically is gone. It's shut down. Look at the church, Ghana church, under what circumstance will a human being who have the capacity to think critically go to your church in the first place? It shouldn't happen. No reasonable human being should go to your church in the first place. But it's very sad and very pathetic. Religion shuts down your ability to be able to reason critically.
No, I disagree with you. Religion doesn't shut the ability of critical thinking. It is rather human nature. When a human being tends to be lazy, the ability to think critically is halted, because all what you expect is miracle. And that is what the Ghanaians, the so-called pastors and the preachers are praying on their prayer, because they know that they haven't got that mental capacity to make a rightful decision for themselves. Therefore, they need to make those decisions for them based on the scriptures, the lies that they tell. So their ability to think depends on the miracles that allegedly would have been executed by the so-called pastors. Because somebody who cannot read and comprehend will read the Bible and tell you, and cannot even explain it well, tell you that you have to fast on this day, you have to do this, you have to do that, sow seed. What nonsense is that? And you see intelligent person going to do that. I always say that look at the mysterious death of Professor John Fifi Mills, a whole professor. Yeah, if you are ill, you have to go to TB Joshua. You see, it's a kind of manipulation. They manipulate you. So no matter how highly educated you are, you become a fool. You understand?
Adams, I think let's stick with the Agrada issue because we are digressing. At the end of the day, I think that if that's the tangent the Ghana, should I say, security forces want to go, then it means that, or maybe the government wants to go, or the system wants to go, then the whole banner of the church, and then the fetish priest, the church, the fetish priest, and things of spirituality has to be taken into account. Because I'm saying is that we shouldn't just look at Agrada's issue and try and then widen it. I think Agrada's issue on this particular case is that
church has played a very important role in socio-economic development of Ghana.
Which one?
You see, all churches, with the exception of those charismatic, the newly created charismatic churches. You see, I'm a Muslim. I attended Church of England.
I want us to stay
I'm
with
coming
that.
because of where you went. Nobody is blaming the church. I don't blame church.
No, I'm not saying you are blaming the church. No, Adam, I didn't say you are blaming. What I'm saying, I want us to stick with just this Agrada issue, whether she was culpable or the prosecution.
Of course, Agrada is a criminal. Of course, she's a criminal. So the court has dealt with her.
Adams, I'm coming. Mm-hmm. You might not like some of the things Agrada has done before and all that. I share the same sentiments a bit. But what I want us to look at is, did she really get a fair judgment? And was justice served? Because I'm saying that we have politicians that have stolen millions and walking the streets of Africa free. Okay, and they take it in turns. This government come, the people that stole will be walking free. The next government to come, and the people that stole will be walking free. Those that have stolen millions, and on this Agrada case, I want to be corrected if I'm wrong. She promised people. We know sometimes these churches, they use psychology in most of the some of their operations, and I'm saying that if we are looking at that case, then we need to extend that to most of the churches in terms of the psychology they use and all those things. But we cannot just single Agrada alone out and say this. Aside that, I'm saying that the prosecution was able to prove beyond reasonable doubt. I'm sure that is why she got convicted. And the defense, say they're going to appeal, I think, because that was a circuit court, and there are higher courts as well that they can go to. So all I'm saying is that with the 500 cedis or the 500 Ghana that I heard, I stand to be corrected. If she has to go in for 15 years for that, I think that is too severe. And I think they need to appeal.
No, you are a lawyer. You know the criminal. We have the judge has got a discretionary whether to give you the maximum sentence or to go within the remit of the minimum sentence. So it is upon the discretionary of the judge that deems fit that, okay, because of what you've done, I want this sentence to serve as a deterrent to others who had the intention to do that. I want social order, therefore take the maximum sentence. So there is nothing like fair or unfair when it comes to passing of judgment or sentencing.
Yes, but the judges are also guided. Sentencing, God, as it was also reported back in Ghana, it could start from even 1 year to maximum of, I think, 25 years or 20 years.
Yes.
I'm not sure of the Ghana sentencing guidelines, but I'm sure it falls on the same premise as in this country. My issue I'm trying to raise is that if lawyers, can appeal the case and look at the sentencing, I'm sure, like one Roland Walker, who's a veteran broadcaster in Ghana, has called for the president to also come in and give a presidential pardon. But I'm saying this to relate it to the politicians. What do we have to say? Yeah, go on.
They are coming there. I think the state is now ready. Ghana is now ready to take what belongs to the people, but not what individual politicians have taken. So this NDC government is going to, and I believe they are on the verge of doing it. Now you can see how many people are going to the CID who are crying, those who are crying that the bail bond given them is too high, and they are crying wolf. So let's give this government the chance. Let's give Ghana, let's give Ghana the opportunity to do what is right, and we see that everybody get the justice. What my fascination was to do with Cecilia Dapa, when we all know that in this country you cannot even keep 10,000 in your car. When you are arrested with 10,000, the police would like to know where the money comes from. They will check every statement that you produce, where you had that money from, and we can find $1 million in somebody's room, and the court will order to say that the the state should give the money back to her. So you know that there is a connivance between the politicians and the judicial system. That's why we need to beg the judicial system, the judiciary. The judiciary itself is corrupt. Until we get rid of those corrupt individuals within the judiciary, the politicians will have a free way, and they will be making.
Let me go to Doc.
Okay. First of all, I got the issues. I have my own concerns about I got this past life, which is very bad and very corrupt. Accra Soto, I personally knew people who went to seek help from her, even though they were greedy. But Agatha had bodyguards, macho men. She will take money from you, promise to double you, should not double you. And if you try to demand for your demand for your money, these macho men are going to beat you mercilessly. If you report to the nearest police station, they won't listen to you. And this continued for years. Despite the evil acts she has committed in the past, if a case has been reported to the police station, she must be given a fair trial and should be based on the law and there should be a fair trial. Concerning the issue of the current government investigations into the corrupt activities of the past, I think it should continue. If I sit from far and don't take sides and make objective analysis, I must say that I think the politicians, both in NPP and this, they've connived behind closed doors sometimes don't to cover things up. Let's look at example. Recently, what happened at the port concerning the missing cables, ECG cables.
Yeah.
When the cables got missing, national security and the BNI now and they decided to investigate, and they went with TV cameras to factories where Chinese and Indians have the factories, have the cables with the ECG imprint and put on them, and you are melting them and selling them. You saw them, you arrested them with the ECG cables. All of a sudden, they were silent. And after 2 months, the minister came to tell us, and they said they have found all the containers. They have found all the containers. What about the cables and the containers? What were the Indians and the Chinese? They arrested.
Yeah.
What about that one? Because there was TV cameras there. They went there to the factories. They saw the cables there with the ECG body on them. ECG confessed, yes, it's the cables. Now all of a sudden, the minister came and tell us that they have found all the ECG cables. My sources indicate that if the investigation have gone further, Bawumia and Akufo-Addo were all accomplices in the crime, and the ECG board by then accomplished the crime. So to cover things up and sweep things under the carpet, then MPP and DC said that behind closed doors, they covered things up.
Yes.
This was
Okay, Doc, that's a very good point you've made. And I think that it's about time we start holding these governments to their thank, because they cannot come promise and not deliver. You know, when it comes to the small, should I say, corporates, they are able to come very heavy-handed onto these minor offenses. But when it comes to those politicians that have stolen millions, and even stealing state lands and state buildings and all that, they walk in the streets free. And it's across the whole. Yeah, I think that is very wrong. Yeah, go on. Quick. Before you go on, let me just mention on our social media, let me give a big shout to artist Ama. Yes, artist Ama says nice setup. Yes, thank you for joining. Great stuff. I'll be bigging all of you up. Don't worry. And then Doc, let me speak to Nanama briefly. Nanama. Nana, can you hear us?
Yes, please, I can.
Okay. Or you are eating some fufu and banku, so you can't speak.
I was sipping.
All right. So, Nana, we are moving from the Agrada story. But what is people's reaction regarding this Agrada thing? Be honest, what are there? Is there a mixed reaction? Or do you think the majority of the people think that it's been unfair on Agrada?
It's mixed reaction.
Your network, stand well, Nanama, please.
The mixed reaction.
Yeah. Okay, viewers, we apologize. Nanama's network sometimes plays up, so bear with us if the network is playing up. Yeah, we've got Adipina. Adipina, thank you for logging on and joining us. We are so grateful. Those of you who are sending me a message, I think you can pick us on the TikTok on Rascats TV. You can pick us on the Voice of London TV, and I think my engineers are sorting that one out. And so you can pick us on Rascats. and then all our other social media handles, and I'll be bigging you up as we go on. Yes, Nanama, we are listening to you.
You asked about it's a mixed feelings because we love it that justice has been served to the people she has cheated, she lied to, but one way or the other, like you said, the people who are really stealing, those people are leaders, our MPs, they are the biggest criminals. They are the biggest people who are defrauding us. These people, I think we have to go in for those people. And then, because I think also sentence normally man is too much. And I know that something can be done. The answer of my lawyers, no matter other courts, because just the second court. See, there are more opportunities for her.
Yeah, and people are saying she's also got a lot of enemies.
A lot full of them.
And then we understand that she also got a very loud mouth. Is that true?
So how can justice be served in a country whereby if the court system does its work and it's been critiqued in all sorts of in all manners, we always tend to delve in politics, if not politics, tribal, if not tribal, we bring in religion.
Yes.
Why can't we allow the judiciary for once to do its work? There is an opportunity. The window has not been closed or shut in front of lawyers.
Yeah.
They can go and seek redress in any other court of competence
Sure,
jurisdiction
sure.
to
Okay.
either reduce the sentence or the sentence will stay. We should stop now. For now, we should allow the judiciary to do their work. Nobody is saying we cannot criticize the judiciary, but we shouldn't make it. It shouldn't be individual basis. You see.
Yeah.
Talking about the politicians, this is the time that we need to hammer home the crime that the politicians have caused us and how disaffectionate and disenfranchised most of Ghanaians are now. So we need to ensure that we get quality lawyers, we get good judges sitting in cases when it comes to the judicial service, and we should start to condemn the political interference in our judicial services.
Okay, so let's okay, thank you. Let's leave that story and go to the interesting story that Nanama gave us earlier. The University of Professional Studies, UPS, has come out to say that the girls, student girls or ladies in the school or the tertiary are dressing very in a way immoral because some of their skirts are too short. Sometimes they leave all their cleavages hanging and all that. And so they've passed a law at the uni to ban such dresses. Interesting. Adams, you have a teaching background. What's your take on that? Should a lady,
my take on that is yes.
Go
in
on.
every institutions, we've got laws that govern the institution. And laws are not static, they are progressive. Therefore, if the university sees that the dressing code has been compromised, therefore they need to enact laws that will bring back the sanctity of how people dress or student dress on campus. It is a step in the right direction. In as much as we've got our right to do everything we want, the right is within a remit. You have to exercise your right within a remit. But one thing that I want to say is Ghanaians are becoming more or less cultural deviant. And immediately you become a cultural deviant, you are lost in all endeavors that hinders the progress and development of a society that has become a cultural deviant.
Okay.
You cannot dress like a prostitute.
Try and keep it short. Try and keep it short, Adams. Okay, Doc. Your view on that? Is it right for the university to bring a dress code to the uni?
Okay.
Or do you think, Doc, or do you think Ghana, like other African countries, are being westernized too much?
Yes, yes, it's true. I think you have been westernized too much, and that's creating chaos in our institutions, especially the senior high school. The kind of morality the students in the senior high school are not demonstrating is West. They go to weapons, cutlasses, and they fight among themselves. And if you ask the female teachers in the senior high school, the male students want to the extent of trying to assault them. Sexually assaulting them because the power of the teachers to punish students is no more. They have been deprived the power to punish students and to instill discipline. Why? All because you want to copy what is done in London and the US. Because in these Western countries, teachers don't punish the students. So they want us to do what is happening in the West. And the level of discipline in the senior high school, I tell you, it's a threat to our future. Because the discipline in the senior high school is right in front of teachers, students are going to misbehave. They jump over the wall, fight among themselves, bring weapons, guns to school, and right in front of teachers.
Yeah.
And the teachers don't have no power because the GAS have tried to copy everything from the Western world, and that's creating unnecessary chaos in the senior high school. With the issues with the UPSC, I don't have the full information about the kind of dresses they don't want to wear and the dress code. But I think that the teachers might have a point. Don't just stand up and say they are introducing a dress code if the students are dressing in such a way that's not moral.
All
So I
right.
think it's nice. They should have some discipline in our schools.
Okay. Let's try and keep it short so we can go through some of these interesting headlines and topics. Nanama,
Yeah.
you are a tertiary student almost. So, would you be happy to be told how you should dress? Since some of you young girls or young ladies want to show your legs and your cleavages and stuff. What's your take on that?
I'll be very, very, very happy.
Why would you be happy?
I'll be happy because sometimes you see your colleague, your own female dressing, and then you feel like, this is just too much. It's too much. If you see what they're wearing out there, you can see that's what you don't see a Muslim dress like that. When you go in human rights, you see Obi and see Obi baby. Like Dr. John said, SHS, a whole lot of nonsense.
Okay.
It was too much. I love this. I love it. I'm so glad
Is it
about this.
is it that because your parents are police people in the force and you are a crife as well? Is that why you are saying that? So there's discipline in your home.
uh, yes, they are all parts. But this is not a big deal. They said don't wear short skirts, torn jeans, no crop top. There are so many dresses you can wear. You have to look decent. You feel good when you look decent, presentable. But they will wear those mini crop, showing things, and their spirits around too. They don't think of all of this. They are not working in only the physical world. There is spirituality attached to the physical world. They don't even think of that. All they know is we are about to trending, which is very bad, very, very bad, because every ekrubia and in a memory. Ghana culture is not that. So I'm very happy. When I saw it, you should see the videos online when they were dragging some of the female students. It's not only for the female, but it's especially for them. Yeah, some of the guys too there.
Mm, mm, okay.
The way they dress like mad people. The human rights. So human rights, and this is what has brought us. So
Okay.
I'm very glad.
All right. Good. Now let's go to the good one. We have. Okay. Let me big up. I think Respect has also joined us. Okay, Respect. I can see you. Give you a wave over there. Yes. Those of you are trying to also log on to the Voice of London television TikTok. I'm sure our engineers will resolve that shortly. On the other social media handles, we are live there, and you can reach us there as well, including the channels. Okay. All right. So inflation from 18.4% is down to 13% within 6 months. Let's take it from there. Adams, the incumbent, the current government took over power with an overwhelming, win over the current minority party, who are still trying to recover from such a huge loss. They've managed to bring petrol down. The prices of food is going down. Inflation has come down from 18.4 to 13%. Adams, is it just you think they can sustain it?
This is a good news, but I don't know the indices whereby the current government has managed to bring inflation down from 18.4 to 13%. I know the fuel prices has been reduced. I don't know about the electricity and I don't know about the consumables. So if I'm aware of all these indices, then I can make an assumption or analysis to see that the reduction of the inflation is sustainable or is superficial. What is the lending and the borrowing rate in Ghana now, of which I'm not aware and I don't know. So until I know all these things, I cannot make a critical analysis about the reduction of the inflation.
But Adams, on that tangent, I think let's look at it from how inflation has fallen from 18.4 to 13%. That must be something that you don't just achieve overnight.
Yes.
We know that the government has come in with the gold board, so we've got to face reality, because inflation was just going up and up and up and up.
But now the bag of cement which was sold at 100,000 is still 100,000. The bag of rice might have been gone down a bit. The liter of petrol is gone down, so that could have influenced the reduction of the inflation. But as I was saying, that there are more to it than those things. So until I know that, and
let's go to Doc. Doc.
Okay. Let's begin from 2016 when JM was handing over to Akufo-Addo. When JM was handing over power to Akufo-Addo, inflation in Ghana was around 14% to about 17%. And Baumia told us they have a fantastic economic management team. So Baumia, being an economic measure with a PhD in economics, so that's something fantastic thing. You're expecting him to reduce the inflation from around 15 to about 2% or 3%. But unfortunately, he rather moved inflation from 14, 17%. JM left him to about almost 70% at some point in time. Compared to West, and that was the worst inflation you've had in the Fourth Republic. Under the leadership of Baumia as the economic management team, you had the worst inflation in the whole Fourth Republic, completely abysmal. JM information have not dropped from 18% to, because when JM was taking over power, it was around 5%. So you know that it dropped from 18%. When NDC was taking over from 7 January, it was around 40 something percent. And they have been able to work diligently to say something to reduce to about 13%. This is effective economic management. This is action. This is practical, empirical evidence of effective economic management. Petroleum prices have reduced drastically. A liter of petrol was around about 17 cents per liter. It's now around 10.9 to 11. The last 3 weeks when I was living in Ghana, it was around 10.9. And I don't know what it's in today. And prices of rice have reduced. Data. Mobile phone shop. I went to mobile phone shop, and prices of phone have reduced more than 20% to about 30%. The same to computers and cars have reduced about 30%. Cacao price. I think this is marvelous. And in this container, then the next 2 or 3 months, you're going to expect a single digit inflation, something that MPP couldn't achieve in the last 8 years. And I think this management have done very well. You have to applaud them and give them support. They can do better. Thank you.
Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. Okay, that's an interesting one. And we wish the government, because the way people were complaining, those of us in the diaspora, we felt it, the hardship upon the people. And so if there's a bit of an ease that has come, or a buffer or something to bring the stress and the pressure down, I think we need to applaud it. Yes, we need to applaud it. Okay, let's yeah, go on.
Pray it continue. It won't be like waba fufuro no. Say the phrase say you know. We akunya first. We really enjoyed, but it got to a time we pray that any politics be on for dream dia grona la show. I can a small time now we frame now show ye. We pray that it will continue like this. Gradually, drastically be a cost of boko. A bomb pay say because I say.
Amen. Because amen.
All right, thank you so much, Nana. Okay, Nana, as you know, telling us exactly how I think most of the people in Ghana feels. Doc, what do you think? Is that the feeling on the grounds?
Of course, I the friends in Kumasi, market women. Last month also, yes, last month they made a press conference. And Kumasi market women who are die supporters of MVP, they are very pleased with James' performance. Have been able to actually stabilize the CCD, appreciate the currency, and prices of commodities are now very cheap. Yeah, recently I bought a car from US. It's on the six coming. Mercedes Benz. Hadn't been some months ago last year, I wouldn't have been able to buy that same car because the dollar was around 17 cities. And when I bought the car, it was around 10.2. And so the price of the vehicle reduced drastically. And that's how it's going to alleviate hardship. It's going to alleviate poverty. People are able to afford basic things like cars, computers, and the quality of life is going to improve. And everybody is feeling it. The mobile phone that used to cost around 10,000 3-4 months ago is now around 6,000 cities on the market. The same mobile phone. How did it happen? Because somebody have been able to make the economic strong. That is the fundamental strong. So the exchange rate is now showing. And this is that exposed very strong fundamental.
Okay, let's from our news decks. Let's quickly run through the headlines, and then we take one or two from there, and then we can bring the whole show to a close. We'll still continue with this beautiful program, serving the Pan-African voice from the Pan-African across the globe and in the diaspora. This is Voice of London Television, and of course, the program has a feed, Voice of London Radio, formerly Afrique Radio, a Pan-African Voice Media. All right, so let's quickly go to our international news decks and look at some of the interesting stories. We might not take all of it. We'll look at just one or two, and then we can continue the next day. Okay, so headlines on our international news desk. We have Gaza aid contractor tells BBC he saw colleagues fire on hungry Palestinians. And so this is what is happening in the Middle East regarding the Palestinians and the Israelis. And then we have the United States of America. Congress passes President Donald Trump's pending bill after days of debate and delay. So that one is coming from the U.S. We have a very powerful story, but very sad indeed. Death of Liverpool forward Jota leaves football world in shock. This is a superstar who plays for Liverpool Football Club. The death of Liverpool and Portugal forward Diogo Jota in a car crash, aged 28, has left the football world in shock. Jota and his brother Andre Silva both died after the Lamborghini they were traveling in crashed in the Spanish province of Zamora. So we send our condolences and bereavement to the family of this player. A very sad story indeed. And Yamamudemu Fudi, yes. Okay, so that is a story to do with a Liverpool football player who is 28 years, his brother is 26. What a loss of life. Okay, welcoming artist Amma. Nice setup, he said. Thank you so much, artist, for supporting the cause. And then, okay, I see Raspek join again. Interesting. Okay, Adepine, is it Adepine? Oh, okay, whatever the name is, I'll try and get it right. But okay, so looking at our international news headlines, I'm only just taking one or two. The UN, that is the United Nations experts, calls for companies to stop doing business with Israel. That's a very strong call there. And then we have over there in the Romanian mountains, a bear has killed a motorcyclist in Romania. And so that's another story there. I think Adams, who is a cyclist, Adams, when you are cycling around the mountain areas, be careful.
Thank goodness there is no bears in England, so I can cycle everywhere I want. We've got some deers.
That's good. Let's make
Today
sure.
I even saw a dead deer, and I was thinking if that guy were to be in Ghana, it would have been a beat. But in this country, nobody will take it.
All right, so that is a there we have in Austria to change two streets named after Nazi supporters. That's some of the international headlines coming on our news desk. And then we have U.S. Supreme Court to review bans on trans athletes in female sports. That's another interesting one there. Okay, so beg your pardon. Diddy, we all know about Diddy, Puff Daddy. Yes, the record label owner and almost a billionaire. Secret world revealed in videos and his voice notes. That's an interesting story, still ongoing in the U.S. law courts. Now, let me turn my attention to the Pan-African world, and then we can discuss one or two. The Pan-African news desk pertaining Mother Africa across the whole global world and the diaspora. Big, the Pan-African world, I beg your pardon, let me get it right. Beg your pardon. Yes, I've got it right now. Okay, so Ethiopia has finished building a mega dam on the Nile. The Prime Minister says the dam on the Blue Nile has caused major tensions with Egypt and Sudan and almost raised a war-like situation. Launched in 2011 with a 4 billion, that is 2.9 billion budget, the dam is Africa's biggest hydroelectric plant and a major source of pride for Ethiopians. Ethiopia sees the dam as vital to meeting its energy needs, but Egypt and Sudan see it as threatening their water supply from the Nile. That's an interesting one there, and I'm sure we'll keep an eye on this developing story taking place in Africa. Okay, so this is history. Angelique Kidjo, first Black African female to get Hollywood Walk of Fame star. That's an interesting one there. So that's Angelique Kidjo. There with such a stardom, the African pride and African flag flying all the way to the Hollywood Hall of Fame and Hollywood Walk of Fame star. Okay, so South Africa's political marriage of convenience avoids divorce. Okay, so that's an interesting one. We have South Africa's two biggest political parties are in an unhappy marriage, but neither side wants to file divorce papers as it could damage them and ultimately their offspring, South African voters. Okay, so that's an interesting one. So they are talking about the ANC and then the GNU political parties. Okay, to bring a bit of an understanding there, let me go a couple of reads into it. But as the children of all toxic relationships know, it can be painful to watch the tantrums played out in public as each side tries to prove they are the better parent. The loveless union in this case is what is called the Government of National Unity, GNU, which was formed in the wake of elections last year when the African National Congress, ANC, the party that brought in democratic rule in 1994 with Nelson Mandela, lost its parliamentary majority. Its arch rival, the pro-business Democratic Alliance, DA party, agreed to join the ANC as its biggest partner in a coalition which had just celebrated its first year anniversary. There was no popping of champagne. There have only been crosswords. Okay, so let me take the last paragraph. But the two leaders, President Cyril Ramaphosa of the ANC and John Steenhuisen of the DA, have shown how their partnership can ideally work when they supported each other in the Oval Office showdown with US President Donald Trump in May. That's an interesting story there. Let's go to our next Pan-African story, and this is to do with Nigeria. Big shakeup in Nigerian politics as heavyweights join forces. Nigeria's two main opposition leaders have joined a new political party to challenge President Bola Tinubu and his ruling party in the next election. Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi have chosen the African Democratic Congress, ADC, as their new political home after breaking away from their respective parties, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the Labour Party, LP. This is one of the biggest shakeups in Nigerian politics since the end of military rule in 1999. Some political heavyweights from Tinubu's All Progressive Congress, APC, party have also thrown their weight behind the formation. Interesting indeed. Nigeria will be going to the polls in 2027, and Ghana will be going to the polls in 2028. Another interesting story from the East African angle. Tanzania Prime Minister to step down in a surprise move. Tanzania's Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has announced that he will not seek re-election in the forthcoming parliamentary elections, effectively preventing him from being reappointed. Majaliwa had earlier said that he would defend his legislative seat for a fourth time in October before making the surprise announcement Wednesday gone. The 64-year-old was appointed Prime Minister in 2015 and was seen as a possible successor of the late President John Magufuli after his death in 2021. We are still on the Pan-African news, and Ugandan military helicopter catches fire in deadly Somalia crash. That's an interesting story, developing story there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think these are some of the brief stories and headlines coming on NewsX. And before we call the night off, let's just quickly take some of the interesting stories. Yes, let's go to the music one on a light note. Angelique Kidjo, first Black African to get Hollywood Walk of Fame. Adams.
It's long overdue because the African music gives birth to all music, and Angelique Kidjo has produced a wonderful music, and therefore a lot of Hollywood music or Hollywood acts were taking inspirations from what Angelique Kidjo produced. So it is long overdue that the Africans should be honored in the United States, but we don't even need them. Why do we need a foreign endorsement? Africa can do its own thing. So
Sure.
I see it as one of those things.
Okay, so we can create our own Pan-African Walk of Fame, and then the Pan-African Walk of Fame star. Yes. Okay. And looking at what you said, look at how China has been within themselves and move with such a development that is beyond belief. Africans can also develop themselves. Actually, having one of the first universities of the world, talking about Timbuktu in Mali, and so African can do it.
It's because we always try to seek endorsement from these people. That's why we are not having our own brain and mind to develop what we are supposed to do. So we don't need any endorsement, especially our government. You don't need to be endorsed by Washington. You don't need to be endorsed by London. You don't need to be endorsed by Paris before you know you are doing well. Do what is right. You don't need them. But
Okay.
if you seek the endorsement, like Akufo-Addo going to snitch about his own another African country, that is seeking to be endorsed, you see, which is wrong. That's why Africans, we are getting behind and we are not going anywhere.
All right. So let's go to JB.
Hello, boss.
Yes.
Okay. Concerning geopolitics, I was expecting you to talk about the Ukraine-Russia war, where U.S. government is saying that it to no longer supply weapons to Ukraine. That's what's happening there. It's happening because there's a lithium
Okay.
mine over
Let's
there. Which
touch on
over.
speak on the Angelique Kujo, and you can introduce that one in, because we are here to inform, to educate, to enlighten with entertainment and a sense of humor. It's all about information, education, entertainment, and enlightenment. So, what do you make out of Angelique Kujo for the first time and being the first African woman and African to get the Hollywood Walk of Fame?
Uh, I think it's actually a great feat. Yeah, yeah, she has been able to achieve, and I think it's an example to us that Africans can make it, and we shouldn't look down onto ourselves that we are not capable of doing it, and we shouldn't always seek endorsements from Washington or London or Paris before we can make effort. And I think the feat we have been able to achieve is a great feat that Africans can do it, and you have to support each other, and you can get there.
Okay, great. Or even Africans can form their own Walk of Fame. We don't need to
Yeah.
go. All right, that's an interesting one from Doc. Doc, okay, you wanted us to look at the Russian-Ukraine war, yeah? So
Yes.
we are going to look at the Russian-Ukraine war. Let's add one more topic, and then we can call it a quit. We look at the
Okay.
Russian-Ukraine war and the latest developments, and then we look at the 12-day war, the post 12-day war of Israel, and then Iran. Briefly, we don't want to spend too much time on it. We should look at it from an educative angle, an information angle, yeah? Also,
Yeah.
looking at these very two topics quickly, we'll still continue to discuss it in the course of the week. So if we can't finish, we'll continue. No worries at all. The post 12-day war, we know Iran has decided not to partake in the anything to do with the IAEA visitation anymore. They've also ditched the U.S. controlled what do you call it, SatNav, the GS, whatever they call it, and gone for the Chinese Beidou, they call it Beidou, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's start with your take on the Russia-Ukraine. Let's be brief.
Okay. The Russia-Ukraine war, I think, is getting to a point in time where a US and NATO are losing. So definitely, that's why US have to back out. because the air defense missile they produce for the Patriot is very expensive, and US warehouse is empty. They do not have any anti missile or anti-aircraft missiles anymore. Besides, they signed a mineral agreement to Ukraine, and according to that agreement, US is going to take it over the mines. That is the lithium mine, the largest lithium mine in Europe. So, like this company, BlackRock, that's a US company, which is owned by the Jews. The Jews, that's the Israelis. They own that company, and they sent US soldiers and mercenaries like to protect those mines. They were sending soldiers ammunition, but unfortunately, Russia have been able to break through their defense and they have taken that mines. So the US says that if they stay in Ukraine, they have nothing to gain. They have lose all the money and the minerals. So they have to back out and send the weapons to Taiwan to go and fight China and also Israel. And Israel, Iran, one fundamental thing that people should know in this world, that it's Israel that controls the government of the US. People don't know this. It's the Jewish deep state aristocrats. They are in control of the world's banking system, the weapon factory, the factories that produce bombs in US and Europe. They are owned by the Jews. The World Bank, IMF, they are owned by the Jews. So they effectively control the US government. So the US president doesn't do anything. So that's why whatever Israel does, the US support them. Because the Prime Minister of Israel controls what the US government effectively. So that is why that's the reality on the ground. But Iran have been very effective in firing missiles to them. At least they have been able to cause destruction in Tel Aviv, and they're going to give some respect to Iran. And
Okay,
Iran
so to get the balance right, what make you believe that the Ukrainians cannot fight back with the backing of the US and the NATO allies? Because in war, sometimes things can change the last minute. Because when you look at the Napoleonic War, where the British were fighting Napoleon, Wellington, I think, if I've got the name right, was losing until later on the war tide changed, and then he won. And we have what
Nana, under no circumstance that Ukraine can fight Russia. Even when we put US together with Ukraine, they can never fight Russia. Russia technologically has advanced in the modern warfare, and Putin has been so tactical that he doesn't want to destroy Ukraine. Putin could have destroyed Ukraine within a week or two, but he doesn't want that. He wants to cripple Ukraine economically, just as the mineral contract was signed with the US. Donald Trump has been smart to take what Joe Biden gave to Ukraine for free, because Europe gave monies and weapons to Ukraine not for free. They charge them with interest. The European nations are criminals. They give Ukraine money that they know the Ukraine can never benefit from that money, and the Ukrainians will kill themselves.
Try and tone down your language a bit, yeah.
No, it's the honest truth. They will say it themselves. They will tell you. They are criminals. They gave the money to Ukraine that go and kill yourself and you pay us.
For the sake of our viewers, just tone down.
Now, US cannot supply weapons to Ukraine any longer because they've got what they want. They don't want to supply weapons to Ukraine any longer. They want the war to end. Therefore, the next thing is the United States government would ask Zelensky to resign, and there should be elections in Ukraine. Immediately there is elections in Ukraine, the war will end. Russia even the United Kingdom can never try Russia. We cannot fight them. You see, we don't need that war. And back to what Doctor was saying, it's not the Jew that controls the world. The Zionists are trying to, not all Jews are Zionists. Not all Jews support Benjamin Netanyahu. Benjamin Netanyahu and his criminal allies are Zionists who don't believe in anything humanity. All what they care is money.
Therefore, I'm only. Do you know that Adams, the largest population aside Israel in the world is even Iran.
It's in Iran. Yes.
Yeah. So
It's in Iran.
go on with your point. But
so now what it is
tone down
because they are now, they've seen that the BRIC alliance has been very strong, and Putin and Russia, North Korea are in alliance with Iran. And Iranians are very smart and clever people. They develop
Yeah.
all these technologies by themselves, so they've been able to fortify their frontiers. So
Yeah, of
now
course,
we
they did.
cannot.
Okay,
Iran is not Iraq.
I think Doc want to come in. Doc, come in.
Oh, you should continue. You should continue. That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Yeah. Iranians are very smart. They've been able to build their own missiles themselves, satellite themselves. To continue.
Okay,
So
so
you see,
so wherever we've left off, the points you are both making, that probably Ukraine must now heed to some form of an agreement, and it looks like Russia is in a pole position to dictate that form of agreement. And then this is where we are leaving off, and then we can continue from there. And then with the Israel-Iran 12-day post-war, we are distinguishing the Jewish from the Zionist, and also some points that we can clarify further. It's not enough time. Gentlemen and lady Nana Ama.
Nana.
Oh, why are there, Dodo? Well done for sticking on. Those of us in the diaspora, we love you to the maximum. Yeah?
Love you more.
Yes. And when you come, you come to London, we'll take you to Leicester to go and visit Adams. And then we'll also take you to Dubai to go and visit Jane.
I'll take her to feast. I'll take her to feast India to have some Indian cuisine.
All right. So Nana, before you go, any final word from the items you brought to us? Anything you want to say before we go?
Okay, so I am very well pleased with the UPSA. Yeah, I love that aspect.
Because you are Krife, innit?
Oh,
Okay, so Adams, round up, final word, a minute, yeah?
My final word to our people is, and our viewers is, we should try and be ourselves and do not be cultural deviant, because if Iranians were cultural deviant or Chinese were cultural deviant, they wouldn't have exerted the might that they've gotten now. And we should stop always seeking endorsement from the West, because they are not our allies. They still see us as subservient, and they still see us as slaves, and whatever belongs to us belongs to them. So we need to be clearly forthright so we can develop and harness our potentials.
Okay, Doc.
Okay. In conclusion, I begin with the UPSA one. I think whatever is happening there is right. We should admit that Africans with morals and they should be able to accept ourselves, and make sure that we instill discipline, and the discipline will actually bring the productivity. A guy that have been punished is good. I think it's a little harsh, but the fraudulent as manner to Iran is causing so much trouble in this world, and it's time that I think the issue. You must respect the Palestinian life and everybody's life. We can live together in the world.
Okay. Thank you so much for the quality you guys bring onto the channels and platforms. Thank you, Dr. JB. Thank you, Sir Adams. And thank you, our beautiful Nana Ama. Beautilicious Beautilina. We love your name to the maximum. Bye-bye. See you.
bye-bye.